7th to order. Our first order of business tonight will be Jason Nedeau. It's an informational meeting. He's proposing a one-lot subdivision.
Thank you. I guess I'm more or less looking for some information and direction as to that parcel. I don't know if you're familiar, if you have the lot number in front of you. It's off the Pole Line Drive, just before you get into that, I believe it's called Green Acres? Green, which is my understanding that the guy has either foreclosed on the property or is let go of the property, and apparently my parcel is pending his whole subdivision.
Oh, you're the out parcel, okay.
Is it this one here?
Is it the one across the street, or is it, that's...
Yeah, that's my question. Is it this lot here?
Correct. Yep.
The one on which side of the street? Is it
Heading in the right.
Duplexes.
heading in, it's on the right, so it's the other side of the street?
Right.
Correct.
Crossing
Okay.
the duplexes, did you say?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually own one of the duplexes now, the first one. And I guess I'm just looking for some direction as to where I go from here, if he's going to give up on that whole subdivision out
I
back.
think that's all back underway again. Isn't that back under?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming back.
He should
Coming
be
back.
coming back. He doesn't have any further application pending. He should be coming.
You bought that lot outright from him?
Nope. My family actually owned that. It was a bigger parcel that had the right-of-way to the land behind it.
Okay.
And he needed the right-of-way to create what he's done out back, which in turn split that into two separate parcels, both of size that falls in, I believe it's an R zoning. So the lots on both sides are big enough. This one has been surveyed and established through Registry of Deeds, which I actually hold the warranty deed for it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess he's been pre-approved for something, but not finally approved on another thing or something.
Who is he?
The gentleman who's putting the...
For Green Gourd?
Correct,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Let me make sure I know. This is, right. Right, and 22001, is that the lot we're talking about?
He said
22A.
Oh, 22A.
Can I see what lots they are, Frank? We're talking. Can I see what lots we're talking about?
Oh, you have the green
Oh,
color.
this one, yeah. On this one, this lot right here, A2.
Correct, there's an existing ranch here, and now there's a...
Thank you.
That, yeah.
It's 22A?
No.
A2.
Oh, all right.
Pole Line Drive.
Where?
Two.
So it is the on the other side of the road.
That's
Okay.
Subdivision Road.
Now let's draw.
Does the right-of-way constitute
Oh, that was good.
a subdivision of the main parcel?
Main Street.
I get asked Tina the question. So A2, A1, and A were all part of one piece of property.
Moved
My
out the road.
understanding that the Nelsons owned the two duplexes.
Find out, but yeah.
Got another parcel from Dean. Am I right so far?
They own the parcel that, if you don't mind. if I can-
I'll put it in the middle.
This is duplex A and duplex B
Yeah,
that the Nelsons owned. I purchased this one from the Nelsons.
yeah.
They also owned, I'll call it N and Lot 1.
What this?
But this was one piece before the right-of-way went through for his subdivision.
But the piece of property you're talking about is A2, right? This one on the other side of the road?
Yeah,
So this at one point was all,
I'd have to go back and...
I guess my
research that.
question is going to be, is this a one-lot subdivision? Are we talking a three-lot subdivision? Is he bringing it, or are the Nelsons supposed to be bringing it?
The Nelsons owned the two duplexes, bought another parcel from Beans,
Yeah?
and this is just research I've done. Then they made it so that the two duplexes could be separated. They bought enough land on that side of the
Right.
road so that the
Yeah.
two duplexes could each stand on their own 80,000 square foot
Right.
lot. So they took the lot that they owned, added to it, and then reconfigured it, making those two lots for the two duplexes and the lot on the other side of the street.
So shouldn't they be coming to us then as a
Well,
subdivision?
They should be coming into three-lot subdivision. Number one, that's my first one, and just to throw it
And
in.
I think it would have been fine if they retained it for the 5 years, but they didn't do that.
They've had the duplexes 20 years.
But they didn't buy the piece of property from Bean.
Yeah, that's been recent,
Right.
right?
And this piece that I now own is part of that purchase from Bean? Is that what you're telling me?
Right.
Yeah. And not only that, not to muddy the waters too much, but we're going through a suitable amount of grief with Green Court Acres on Barb's Way.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Green, and pole line.
pole line, which is a private drive.
Right,
So,
it's a private road.
so they not only need to have agreements from Barb's Way, they also have to have agreements on people on these lots here that are not part of Green Court Acres, that they're using as their main right of way.
Right.
And I don't think that was brought up before. Green Court Acres is here. There's now 3, 4 lots down there that also need to have, they need to come up with road agreements.
He purchased that right away.
He's also being
I
used,
thought he owned that right
The whole
away.
thing, though.
he owns,
No, I don't think he got the whole thing.
No, I don't either.
No, he got the whole thing.
I think it's no more, this is a right of way too.
Yeah, but this is only 2 people that own that right away.
I think when we
There's
counted
2
lots,
on
I think it
either
was
side
like,
of that.
I think there was like 7 lots all total.
On Barb's Way,
Yeah,
I think there's 7.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, that's why I don't want them under the water, I guess another issue, but I think it's this road, both of them are private, both of them need road agreements before he goes ahead with this. I mean, that was our stipulation on here, but I think it's gonna have to be both of them. These people are, now they're on a major, on a 20-lot subdivision, and they have a private road.
Even the duplex that I own now is part of that?
I don't see why it isn't, who's gonna maintain your road?
We maintain it now.
So you want another 20 people using the park?
You're going to have another 20 lots using your road, so what we're saying is there needs to be a road agreement with all concerned parties
Yeah.
before that was one of the things we asked them for Green Court Acres, this last meeting we had. We were talking Barb's Way, but after going through this, I'm saying it also includes you guys down there.
But is this, the lot that we're discussing tonight, is that part of his whole deal though? I don't-
No, but it borders on the road, on the easement, so.
Just, yeah.
But if I already maintain the road as it is now, all I'm doing is,
But you plan to maintain the road when he has a subdivision?
no, but I'm just speaking on the lot that I'm here tonight for.
Right, that's why I say I didn't want to muddy the water.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing it from 2 things, because we've met with Green Court Acres, and all of a sudden I'm looking at another private road. I hadn't considered that being a private road, but it's a private road also. So it needs to have agreements.
And what was that letter we had from someone
Right.
who said that road wasn't available to anybody?
Yeah,
for
that's
anything?
something.
Bob's Way,
Yeah.
it's Pole Line Drive, Bob's Way, no.
Right,
It's
yeah.
going to be a fun agreement.
I thought I had a copy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
I
what
have
you're
it.
talking about. I see yours as a 3-lot
That's it.
subdivision that should be brought
What's the name?
That's Bob's Way.
by
So there's Pole Line.
the other people that own this.
Nelson's.
Where is Pole Line Drive on the subdivision map?
It
It's
says
better
Green
known
Court.
as Green Court, which
Green
is better
Court
known
is
for
Pole Line.
Yes, yeah.
Wait, but isn't this lot that you just recently purchased, because of that was combined into this whole mass, that's why it's now renumbered. We had to assign a
Right.
number to it.
Because the subdivision approval has to include all of the out sales in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it was fine when it was an out sale, when it was a sale to the abutter, but the abutter had to retain it for 5 years, which didn't happen.
So what happens when they come back to us and they sit down, and if it gets approved, then that's a viable lot then?
It's 2 separate things, all right?
No, because it's numbered as part of the subdivision.
But it's not
It's not
included.
numbered as part of the subdivision.
No, it's not,
numbered
not,
as
it's not one
part
of the lot numbers. It's 2 separate entities.
Now, what happened with the 2 existing houses that are there now on that same side?
Well, that's
Yeah.
part of what brought all this to our
Yeah.
The
attention.
D. and-
Those weren't part of the original
and
parcel.
Yeah, but those weren't part of the original. They weren't part of the original parcel.
Right.
that's all part of pole line.
Yes, but they weren't.
Do they have to be involved in that subdivision, though? That's what I'm asking, I guess.
They may have to as far as.
It's a
the
road agreement.
goes.
Oh, yeah.
It shows it better in the subdivision map.
For some reason, I was thinking of that, and I think we were talking
And I think we
as a
got-
public road, and it's not, it's a private road.
With that, I don't have a
So they go, whoa, wait a minute. If we're gonna do this for barbed way, we're sure as hell gonna have to do it for that, because they're gonna get the main track.
Now, he's coming out on another road, is that the understanding? No.
No, he's using barbed way as a secondary emergency.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so we left it with them, they were gonna negotiate with Gagny
Yeah.
for that section.
Right.
Yeah, I think the vague terminology was they were gonna have to have a road agreement with all the people along, which is actually 7 people.
Yeah, but it's owned, the right of way is owned by Gagny.
Mhm.
But there are 7 lots bordering it.
That's the right of way I was talking about, that he didn't have full ownership. But I think Green Court, he does have full ownership.
Yeah, I thought he did, I
Yeah.
thought.
But
He
not
does,
all
he
the
does.
way to
I thought we were
West
talking about
Road.
the other one at
I
first.
think,
yeah.
I thought he bought that.
Okay.
That's what I remember that,
I don't think he does.
He brought water up through there, is that, I don't know. if
no, that was different.
Different.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that was owned by it, and this is, Barb's Way is the one that there's questions on.
Well, I think part of the reason that one's okay is because it would be the 50-foot wide one. The Barb's Way one is really narrow
Yeah.
and has bad access onto West Road.
But that doesn't help this guy.
Well, back to you.
I just need some direction. Every avenue I take, I feel like I hit a dead end.
So you're thinking of splitting the lots, is that?
No, I just,
You just want to be able to own your lot.
I do, yeah.
So what has happened in the last 5 years? In the last 5 years, you've built a duplex and a house,
Nope, I purchased a duplex
purchased a duplex.
from the Nelsons,
Yep,
and now I've purchased another lot from the Nelsons.
from the Nelsons.
This 22A.
Correct, yeah?
So the Nelsons, I mean, I think the Nelsons have to come in after the fact for a subdivision.
Yep.
I don't think it's your fight.
No, it's his, he may have bought the lot, but I don't think I think the
Yeah.
right to build on it is not his.
By the land.
I think Mary Nelson acquired it, if I were to guess, 20 years ago. I think it was a joint ownership between Les Layton and Mary Nelson, is that?
For the duplexes, yes,
Yeah.
but not the
The Glen Bean.
Bean parcel.
How long has that been?
There's, on the top part of the subdivision thing, I think there's dates on the deeds. It was really confusing because it got passed back and forth a couple times.
Well, the thing that makes it, the thing that changes it is when they change
Reconfigured the
they
lot.
reconfigured the lots, Judy, so they had enough, and that's what sets your time frame.
Yeah, so when was that?
So that's when it was divided.
That's when it was divided.
Now, why would they have to do that?
They
Add land
did
to
it
split the duplexes? What-
because each one of those duplexes requires 80,000 square feet.
Okay.
So they got additional land so that then they could make 2 80,000 square foot lots with the right frontage.
Okay.
And then they redivided that lot and then had
You
created
see how
another
that-
lot on the other
I
side.
see how
Doesn't-
A
doesn't-
actually goes up way behind, that's what gives them a
Doesn't each unit count as a division as well?
Because it's too,
It was probably grandfathered.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was 20, that's before zoning.
Yeah. Nowadays, you would need 2 lots for each.
So if they found the date out when they actually made the changes, that would set the 5-year limit. I assume you don't want to wait till the end of that before you build. Other than that, then it's got to go back to them for a 3-lot subdivision, I guess the way I see it.
So they would have to come back before you for an application of 3-lot subdivision, is that?
That's the way I see it. But I'm junior man on the board, so.
I'm just trying to think, there's no way for the town to have ever picked up on that. You know, the fact that they combined them, subdivided them without them coming forward on their own. There's no way for us to have found out ahead of time.
no, and I don't think the problem really triggered until they created the third lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Technically,
thing.
it was the fifth lot, if you want to consider each one of them. Yeah, I don't know. Because a duplex is an acceptable use, so I don't know that you'd call each one of those two lots, you'd call each one a lot. So that would just be the lot on the other side is the,
I would think to make a fair decision, for everyone involved, we have to get clarification as to exactly when the lots were divided out, who divided them out,
Yep.
and some kind of history on these lots to know, has it been 3 lots created in a 5-year period or not?
I think it has been. I'd like to see it.
And
written-
I
I'd like
suspect
to
so
see it
too.
written
I'd
out.
like to see.
I stopped in this
Well-
afternoon with an idle question, like, oh, yeah, what's coming up tonight?
Yeah.
And I left here shaking my head,
Yeah.
because it gets complicated. You really need to
And
have.
you don't have any information of the bean transfer through this green acres or whatever it's called?
Oh, too
to
green.
Nelson's, you mean?
Yeah, that was, because the right of way was there, there'd be no information outstanding with
It'd
him.
be in a deed, right?
Well, we have the deed and the references up there. I don't know if it has a dated reference or not on it. So this is,
No dates.
yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Does Tom have some input on this?
walked back and forth a couple times, that's where it really gets confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somewhere there's gotta be, it's either York County or their deeds, or
Mm.
somewhere there's gotta be officialese.
Curtis Chairman, yeah. Tom has something to say.
I don't know if we're helping you or not. I mean, it's sure, we're getting it clarified up here a bit, but from my viewpoint, the
Well,
Nelson.
they need to either prove when they bought it and that it didn't meet the 5-year limit, or,
They need, that's it. They need to show us when they bought it so we can go from there.
and that's what the applicant submitted when we questioned him about everything done within the last 5 years.
Was lot 22A originally part of the Bean?
I think so, I think they
Purchase
got
or
all of that.
Was that the land that they owned previous to that?
I don't think so, I think they
Okay.
owned, if you look on one of those, a smaller parcel with the 2 duplexes on it, and then it changes to a bigger parcel with different lines. I think you can see it on the tax map, you see how did I give you the right
Where
one?
is it?
It might be on 20. Did I give you-
Second one,
It's on map 20. If you look 11A and B, you get,
22A?
no. See, this is where the 2 duplexes are. They used to just own this piece, and then they got this piece and redivided.
One more time, go through it again.
It used to be, the line used to be here, and then they got this. They bought that piece and then redivided these two so that this has a duplex on it, and this has a duplex on it. In the process of doing that, there was a lot on the other side of the road once they put that.
But that's not part of this. On this side of the road.
That's right, it's a different lot over here. But I think they got that all together because the easement wasn't there until they, till they started doing that.
Tom, you had something?
The solution to this, in my opinion, there's only one way. You can't base any decisions on time assumptions. And Andy, you and Frank came real close to what you need to do. The board needs to request, in order to be helpful to the applicant, a chronology of all the events attached to time. Because when you see the time sequence and the chronology that they happened in, it'll determine as to whether or not it needed or did not need subdivision. After you have a chronology of events, which is the only way you can analyze this, then you need a legal opinion as to whether to proceed with the subdivision or not, or to grant the applicant what the applicant is asking for. That way, the board has a full understanding of everything and doesn't make any assumptions. You can't.
Having said that, this is where you clarify things for me, Tom, but having said that, it reminds me, BH2M, didn't they just do that for this whole thing?
Yes.
They would be the guy to get hold of. They've probably got it all written out.
That's what they
I've
said.
contacted them several times, and he just keeps telling me that the owner of the parcel, I can't remember, Greg, is that his name?
Mark McCallum.
Mark, doesn't answer his phone and hasn't pursued anything further, is what he keeps telling me. Bill, I think his name is.
Bill Thompson.
Bill Thompson, yeah.
But that's, when we said we did everything that was done within the last 5 years, that's what the applicant.
That's what he should have. Could you maybe give him a phone call?
Well, that's,
That's-
actually for a fee, I'm sure if you
Yeah.
contacted
Yeah.
Bill Thompson and paid the fee, you would, this is.
That's the guy that's got the
Yeah,
information.
this is property of Mark McCollum, this isn't property of the H2M,
How
Okay.
come you don't have the information if he has it though? What?
because I haven't come into this, that far into the process at this point. And we would have the information on what they're looking at doing now.
We could go to the courthouse and research the deeds, but
Yeah, well, you can get an
Actually,
attorney,
we could if you
you can get an
wanted to save
attorney
it.
to
Yeah,
record
there you
it,
go.
research for you as well, and tell you what we need to know.
I don't know if we're making it easy for you, but I hope we're clarifying it a little bit.
Doesn't sound like it.
So the Nelsons now don't have to do a 3-lot subdivision, is that?
I think
I-
we don't
I
know.
think it
Depends on what
chronological
you find
order.
out.
The information that I heard earlier today, and I apologize for coming in later, as you can see, it's
Yeah.
gonna work. My gut call is because they own 2 dwelling units on parcel A, and they bought parcel B to combine them to bring them into
Yeah.
compliance.
Since they are.
This would be the 3rd split within 5 years, regardless of how long they own the other parcel.
So the information,
Would have to be, you would have to.
that will determine what has to be done
Okay.
or not.
Yeah, and I mean, you can hire a contractor or an attorney to go after and figure out what exactly has to be done at that point. Tom?
Mr. Chair, the other thing that the board's going to be needing, facing sooner or later, is clarification on where Barb's Way really is.
Separate issue though. That's-
Right.
that's-
Separate
that's
issue.
separate. And already complicated because this complicates it out there as far as I'm concerned with the road association. But still a separate issue, you know.
I mean, what's gonna have to happen is Mr. McCollum's we're gonna have to figure out what that parcel is gonna happen with that parcel in the near future. You know, BH2M is holding this paperwork. Mark McCollum, I've seen ads for this parcel for sale or up. I've seen ads in the paper for this parcel. I'll renege on the for sale part of it. So if this goes belly up, and this project may be dead in the water, so you may be able to call Bill Thompson at BH2M or one of the partners and see if you could purchase the information that you need in particular for that section of the work they've done.
My understanding from the foreclosure that happened September 30th was that it did not foreclose.
It did not.
It did not
They did
foreclose.
not.
Yeah.
That it was, that he found a way to deal with that. And so,
At which point, if that's the case, and it's still on, then they really should be happy to negotiate and talk with this guy and give him some information.
Probably
Because
so.
he's gonna, that's a road association coming up through there.
Mhm.
So I think I'd be
Bill Thompson again?
yeah, Bill Thompson is the engineer that is putting everything together for the client,
Sure.
yeah.
right? And so he's doesn't own anything here, he's just done the work for a guy named Mark McCollum.
Yep.
And so
He's got the
BH2M, Bill
information.
Thompson should have all the knowledge on it, but it's knowledge that he's been hired to put that together for different individuals. Now he's not having, you know,
Southern Maine
he
Regional.
paid me to do
Southern
this, and I'm
Maine
giving that
Regional,
information to you for
was the
free.
one that brought this up to
So
us.
it's kind of like,
Wasn't that true?
that's something you have to work out
Southern Maine
between
Regional,
you and
wasn't it?
him,
The last one we reviewed.
and probably Mark McCollum.
Brought this whole thing.
Exactly.
They had the information too.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
You know, they-
When do you meet again?
First and third Wednesday.
First and third Wednesday? And when do I have to get on the agenda? What's my cutoff date? What's, like 14 days or something, is that
right,
correct?
2 weeks before the meeting.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
I don't have to fix anything.
Moving on, next thing on our agenda for this evening is minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes, 8:3 and 8:17. Both of them are in the packet. I was not present at the 8:17 one. So I'll make more noise, but personal bubble, I like that. There a motion on, we'll start with August 3rd first.
Motion to accept is written.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor of passing the minutes? So moved. August 17th.
Move we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor? Can't vote. All right. Moving down through the list, we have Tom's has some comments coming up. We also have registrations, the main client seminar. The selectmen wanted to meet to discuss village zoning. We also have a phone call from Sylvie LeMay, Brian Gagney, requesting to meet with the planning board on September 21st to discuss Barb's Way access for Green Court Acres. Tom, are you ready?
First thing, board, use this one. What's being passed out is being sent to you from the Board of Selectmen last night on their agenda. And Dave, supplement what I have to say, because there may be more information. The board has worked for months on the performance bond language in the ordinance. It was sent to the Board of Selectmen without legal review. I believe the chair of the Board of Selectmen directed Nancy to have legal review done. What you see, red line, do you have a copy of this, Tina? What you see, just happened last night. What you see before you has had town legal review. Fundamentally, the context has been kept the same. It's been put in what our law firm considers proper legalese. So it's being forwarded to you from the Board of Selectmen. They'd like you to review it and hold a public hearing before you send it back to the Board of Selectmen.
They want us to hold a public hearing?
Correct,
We'll
yes.
send it back to them. They will then hold a public hearing?
Correct.
Right.
The only thing that, at some point in time, because David's here as liaison to the selectmen, I'm somewhat bewildered why you have to have two public hearings and you can't have two boards have one public hearing. Does anyone know the answer to that? It just seems like,
Hadn't we requested that?
We've done this
That we could do it.
before, and the ordinance says, because the ordinance is worded that way, I think.
well, maybe it's time to reconsider that, because I just think that it seems like a lot of wasted time to hold two public hearings. It costs money, right, Tina?
It does to advertise.
To advertise this, and it, many communities just have concurrent meetings when it comes to the final cut on an ordinance.
Can we have two public meetings at the same meeting? One at 7 and one at
Doesn't say you
7:30?
can't.
One at 7, one at 7:30?
But Dave, do you know the rationale, other
I
than
didn't understand, just that they felt that they needed to have,
the planning board's review again? So there,
We put this on the agenda for next meeting, and I'm not gonna, I mean, I haven't read this.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Well,
I may disagree with legalese, I mean, I've been known to do it before, so I'd just soon put it on the agenda for next meeting, and we'll go from there.
just so the board knows, the reason you don't have it earlier is because the selectmen at their meeting last night put it on their agenda and then forwarded it to you. Otherwise, we would have got it to you sooner. Okay?
If I may, I mean, I also see a letter in here where the selectmen want to meet with us on village zoning. The meeting prior to or during a regular meeting, I assume it's prior to or during a regular one of our meetings. So why don't we just make it a joint meeting and have both public meetings there and take care of this?
That makes sense, Dave?
So after next week, when we build that up, maybe we can go.
21st?
Well, maybe, no, let's send it back to the selectmen and say we're more open to it. We'll pick a date then and we'll have a joint meeting during one of our meetings and because they have to announce there, just like we have to announce it. So that way till 2 weeks after the next meeting, we can have a public meeting and knock them both out. That made sense to me. Does it make sense to anybody?
Now you're talking like a planner.
I'll come and see it tomorrow.
Do you know of any legitimate reason why you can't have a public hearing at a joint meeting? Or is it just like a rumor or someone's interpretation?
I think it actually says that the planning board shall hold public hearing and selectmen shall
I
hold.
think that's what it came down to the last time, because
We didn't quite rattle last time, did we?
The answer to the question is, that's the way it always has been, that's tradition, and that's policy. And if it's time for a change, maybe that's, you all can work it out.
Whose responsibility would it
no, I
obtain
think
that?
it was a legal opinion,
Oh,
I
Board of Selectmen.
believe.
But why not ask the full board when they're present? And
How about if it was, I think Judy was right, I think it was
I
a
mean, it
legal
was more
decision.
than just,
So-
that's the way it's always been. It has to do with the wording in the ordinance.
in the
I
charter,
Unless the
Yeah,
ordinance
joint
is
meetings, I really do.
yeah, I do
So
too.
could we pass, through the selectmen, could you find out legally if we can have a joint meeting? As long as it's announced ahead and everything else? Strictly as a cost saving measure.
When you say joint meeting, you're saying,
All the selectmen in one room, all the planning board in one room. And if we have to have, they have to have their own meeting, why we sit over here and have ours, I don't care. As long as we're all in the same room and we can discuss this all in one thing, only pay for it once.
Do you read what it says? You have to have a public hearing?
And then basically it says the selectmen shall have a public hearing.
Yeah, the proposed amendment goes to the selectmen first and forwarded to the planning board for their review and recommendation. And then it goes back to them and they have a public hearing.
And they have the public hearing. There's nothing else here.
But the last time we did that,
Where did the pushback come from?
can you read this?
But the ordinance doesn't say that we have to hold a plan.
Dave
We don't have to
Dave
hold a
will call-
public
Dave
hearing.
will get clarification before we
It
come
says
back to
after
the
a
next
public
meeting.
hearing, the Board of Selectmen shall vote on the proposed amendment. So,
Right.
basically.
Wait, what's the pushback?
All right, so we have the,
How's the sister in committee going?
all right, if you go back on, we have
State
the,
random.
I have one more thing.
all right,
Is it okay to do it now?
yes.
This is just to alert you that capital improvement plan, which is charter mandated, is going to start up again in a couple weeks.
One of our hackles work every
Typically-
time he says mandated.
Well, it is. It's in charter. Must do. This is the blank form. Whoops. This is the blank form. Traditionally, department heads submit items for the CIP, but I'm convinced that committees and boards, if you see a project that you want to tackle that wouldn't be in your operating budget, but would be over $5,000, capital projects have to be in excess of $5,000 to be in the CIP, okay? So if the planning board has ideas of, for example, a study that needs to be done, then that can be in the CIP. So I'm just alerting the board, if you wish to propose a capital improvement project that's under the auspices of the planning board, let me know. I'll prepare a draft of this, and then it'll be in the final document that's submitted to the selectmen.
Mr. Chair, acting chair, whichever, if I may. Earlier this evening, for some reason, I went and attended the 2020 committee. I take credit for dragging these two along, I guess. And after listening to the 2020 committee talk about their projects coming up, listening to selectmen's meeting in the last 2 weeks with the road review committee talking about their projects and their culverts and this and that, knowing that we've already spent close to $20,000 on a GIS program that's non-existent, we don't use, I made the suggestion to the 2020 committee tonight that maybe as a capital project, more than one committee needs to get together, in this case, planning board, road review, 2020, I would hope the selectmen, and we have a joint capital plan to get the damn GIS system up and running. Every time I turn around here, we don't have maps, they don't know where cisterns are, they don't know, I hate to bring cisterns up, they don't know where culverts are, they don't know where roads are, and we've got all that information. It really needs to have a joint effort to get the thing up and running and done. I mean, I shouldn't say done, because it's never done. Up and running, so that someone can go in, if they want to hire someone to make a little change to the layer, or they want to add something, they've got something to work with. But this is not a cheap project. I'm going to say 30 to 50 grand. Because you're going to have somebody in here for probably a year. You got to buy a computer again. But it really needs to be done. I mean, I listened to Road Review, and that's exactly what they're describing. I listened to our chairman of the Board of Selectmen talking about DeLorme's system and everything else. We've got all that stuff. We bought the software. Actually, we've upgraded it, and needs to be upgraded again for the third time, but we've never used it. We'd just get it done. That would make it great, and it wouldn't be us going for it, which we're the ones that went for it the first time. It wouldn't be just us, it wouldn't be planning board, it wouldn't be, it would be a joint one. It would be a town capital improvement project. So now you've got 20 some odd plus people standing up and saying, hey, let's get it done. That's my spiel for tonight. I just happened to go sit down with them earlier, and it just to me became obvious that this is, you're looking for capital improvement rather than just rubber stamp or whatever they've done for the last 5 years. This is one we can all get together. I certainly would love it when you come in here and plans and stuff and things are laid out. You should be able to walk out in the other room, hit a button, print out the map and have it done. Where's water? Where's sewer? Not sewage, but where's water? Where's zoning? Yeah. And not colored lines and, God, I'll stop.
So it would also help on the new water district.
Yeah, that came up earlier. They trying to get the water district to come up and tell us what they're doing. The water district used our Sebago Technic maps this last 2 years ago. When they laid out the new stuff, they came down here and went to Sebago Technic to use our product to lay out their stuff.
Well, what I'm getting at is that when we talked, we had the public hearing, some of the people at the public hearing had concerns about how can we tell exactly where that line is? So that would also solve that issue, right?
It's just another layer on top of it. You need the fundamental stuff to make changes.
So I think your position is it benefits all the groups. It benefits road committee,
Yes.
planning board,
Yep.
the town in general, yeah.
I asked, what's the guy's name that was there? The road review committee chair.
Roger.
Roger. I mean, he was bringing up they don't have maps, and I said, yes, we do. We have the Sebago Technics maps, which are laid out. I mean, that's where all our stuff comes from. So if you're going to lay us where the culverts are, we've got it. We just got no way of getting it out of there without going to Tina and saying, make us a copy of this and that. You know, just do it so that the whole thing is there. You can lay out cisterns too.
Okay.
Kurt, Mr. Chair, if there's consensus on the board, there was on the 2020 committee to move this forward with a GIS capital improvement plan, and I had offered to draft something up subject to the review of all boards that wanted to participate. Am I hearing a consensus of the board that you would like to be one of the co-partners of this CIP item in the CIP plan?
I think we own I mean,
There isn't anything there to own anymore.
we own
Computer's
the
gone.
thought.
We own the thought. But it shouldn't be us. The more I sat in that meeting, the more I say, wait a minute.
Right.
This is a town thing.
Exactly.
And every time something GIS has come up, it's been planning board or it's been little groups. And everybody goes, yeah, GIS, they don't know what the heck it is, and they drop it. Get 3 or 4 things together.
I mean, you
groups
really
together.
affect it. You can, fire department could put dry hydrants on it, everything.
Yep.
I mean, it's-
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
What brought it up was they
GIS
asked
is
about
invaluable in the
putting,
community.
they were doing, they're gonna do a chapter on infrastructure. Bing, click, that's exactly what we need.
Exactly.
But you need someone to come in, lay it out, and do the thing. And it isn't the guy wearing the headsets back there. He's got enough to do. This is not a part-time thing.
GIS is an engineer.
This is initially to get it off the ground, this is a
Computer-wise.
full-time job to get it laid out.
Yep.
Okay. I think the answer is yes.
Okay.
So
So
I
the way,
think road review, I think,
I got no
would
problem.
be
I
yes.
think it's a good idea.
so just in closing this piece of it, I'm going to draft up on that form that you have there, the traditional way of preparing a capital improvement project, and it'll be a joint venture between the 2020 Master Planning Committee, the Road Review Committee, the Planning Board, and I'll check with the Board of Selectmen to see if they want to be, co-partners on this. But that gives ownership to all those committees as a group, and I like that approach, Frank, and I'm glad you were at the meeting last night, because it made a lot of
The other
sense.
group, little group, cemetery committee.
Yeah.
How many we got, 114 in this town? One layer, click.
I'm not sure how to make it click with the water district, but, usually a water district is joint venturing in this type of a deal because it's part of water master planning. So, let's see what happens. Let's take it to first base first. And, so that's where we're at on that. Mr. Chair, that's all I have for this evening.
All right, thank you, Tom. The municipal client seminar put on by Jensen Baird. When do those deadlines have, when do those registration forms need to be in by?
16th.
I could read that right off the second
Or you
page,
can
I
do it by
guess.
email, or you can do it by fax.
All right. Does that have to go through town?
This is a very good seminar for those of you who haven't. Jensen Beard does a good job with
And
it.
they do, and the food's pretty good, too.
Okay, and the food's good, too.
That's important.
When is that seminar, what day?
Thursday, September 29th, starts at 5:30 and goes to 8:30. Registration lights up our programs, got new legislation overview, the energy code, building code, medical marijuana, snow dumps, retroactive ordinances, fireworks, and more.
They're providing medical marijuana.
You're gonna
I
have
think even
fireworks?
fireworks.
Snow dump, and snow dumps afterwards.
Those go well together.
In the recent court cases. So, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see some of the legislature changes. But get your application in on that. We do have an email from the selectmen for a meeting with them to discuss village zoning. I'm assuming that they're asking to do it on one of their dates.
I was assuming they were gonna have it done on one of our days.
That's
Since
what
they
I
didn't
was
say,
That is right.
Okay.
since they didn't say, I think we'll do it on one of our dates. They could have a workshop, one of our workshop days or whatever.
We have anything on the board for the 16th? 21st?
Well, I don't know what you want to do about, people
Nothing.
want to talk about Greencourt Acres.
Not until they have an application in.
Well,
This is not,
that's what I suggested to Sylvie and Brian, that they should come when the applicant comes, and then they can air their
Bring up their-
questions then.
Right.
Because asking the board what the applicant's gonna do, the board
Yes.
doesn't answer for the applicant.
Until we have a full application before us again for Greencourt Acres, it's a moot point for us to discuss Barb's Way with anybody,
And
particularly in the right-of-way issues that affect Greencourt.
yeah.
Because right now, it is what it is. I guess that's my thought on it.
Okay,
Mm.
well, Frank was in my office when I was talking to her.
I
on the phone.
listened to one side of the conversation, I don't think they understand that, but I don't see
If
what
they
it
insist
says.
on coming, they're welcome to come, but there's not a lot we can do except sit here and listen to them and nod, and
Mhm.
give them a lot of unknowns. Tom, I'm sorry.
Tom?
Another possible solution would be, because some time has passed, you're at final approval, there may be some wisdom in calling a refresher public hearing.
I think that's a good point. I mean, it's been so long that there's been lot ownership changes,
Mhm.
and that makes a lot of sense, Tom.
If the board has another public hearing before the closure of the final, that way all parties can be brought up to speed, and that becomes a good
Well,
opportunity.
she seemed to think that when the application was submitted before, that Barb's Way wasn't an active part of the subdivision, and that it got added after the public hearing, because she said it didn't concern her then, but it concerns her now.
So I think that all points to the lack of clarity. The residents aren't clear as to what the final plan is, so there may be some wisdom, and that may also satisfy the needs, because they'll all be given an opportunity to come and speak.
And again, tonight, when we had the previous gentleman, it also includes, I think, road agreements on
You bet.
the other private road that's not part of it too, so.
I think
So does the board need to vote that it will hold another public hearing, so I can tell her that?
Yeah, I think, the other thing is too, I think we should talk to BH2M or something and let them know, so they don't get hit, they think they're moving on the railroad track and.
Don't they have to submit to be on the agenda again? I mean, given
Right,
what's
we don't have
happening?
anything.
Because he didn't show up at the last meeting.
Right.
No.
Yeah, so they have to
They gave the board an
resubmit.
explanation of what's going on.
But until they come back, there's nothing.
Yeah, so I mean, I would think they have to make an application, and we can discuss that at a meeting when they're
Mhm.
present.
At what point we want to bring it back into the process?
I mean, I can send Bill Thompson an email and say that the board's reviewed,
I think
has
it says
concerns
something
about
good about with
the
it.
status of the, will require a public hearing when the applicant,
Because then we have 3 months from the time of submission of final plan. Or
The subdivision.
From,
There's
Isn't there a
timelines.
sundown clause in there?
There is,
Yeah.
there's
There is.
timelines in there, and so
Yeah.
the applicant needs to come to the table and to protect the rights of the community and to protect your rights as a planning board. My recommendation to you would be is to send a letter to Bill saying, we've talked about it, it's time, there will be another public hearing, and that way everybody's on the same page.
And let
No
Sylvie,
surprises.
let it to her, to let her know that we're gonna be talking about it.
The residents deserve.
Okay. I thought it said 6 months.
So we could meet on with the selectmen, we could put them in on the 21st.
Okay?
Was that enough notice for you guys?
It's okay with me.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm not going to speak for the other four.
That's the majority of.
All right.
David has spoken for this board of selectmen and just told us. I gotta ask this, do we know specifically, or a little bit of clarity, what they want to talk about with village zoning? That's like saying we're gonna talk about cars at a dealership. Can we narrow it down a little bit? Is this anything to do with?
Several months ago, wasn't it, Tom?
It's the
Yes, it
area
was-
around JD's that.
That, that particular village zoning? they wanna talk
How
about?
far, I think what the selectmen are looking to hear, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, is what's the planning board's opinion as to how much you want to stretch that village zone? Do you want to, how much further do you want to expand it so it's not looking like you're just doing singular rezonings? That's what I think they're looking to
I
hear.
I know that we've talked about this before and said this is where we're looking for, once again, a joint meeting with 2020 Selectmen, Planning Board. EDC is gone, but isn't this what we asked for before?
You're right, absolutely.
And it was, we were going to wait until after town meeting.
Yes, which is now after town meeting. And if the Selectmen would like to get a joint meeting together, get a lot of stuff to go back this time.
So are we on to the 21st, or are we going to let them?
Let's wait to hear them, but I think at any of our meetings, we can
Let's
schedule it.
suggest the 21st.
21st, okay. Because what I say, we're gonna end up meeting with them, but we really ought to have the 2020 here too.
Yes.
It doesn't do any good to meet with them and then decide we ought to have a joint meeting again, let's have a joint meeting.
Tina, extend that invitation to 2020 members.
2020.
Oh, I was going to say, if you waited till the first Wednesday in October, that would be 2020's usual meeting town meeting.
Hey, what a great idea.
That might be a better night. Thank you.
October,
Just,
So Dave, we shift that to the 4th.
just a thought, would it make sense to have like a monthly or a quarterly joint meeting with all the board members
That's,
on a regular
we
basis?
said we're gonna do it quarterly, but you know how those things go.
Yeah, well, Do it monthly, maybe we get quarterly. But I mean, put it on the actual agenda for the month, you know, and start making
No,
it.
I think they would like to see something like that on a quarterly basis. I really do.
Tom, would 2020 start the meeting at 6 and then come over here at 7 for this meeting, or?
We've got a pretty heavy-duty agenda on the first Wednesday of October, which coincides with your meeting.
Mhm.
The dilemma that I'm now faced with, and I apologize for being late, is that committee prefers starting at 6 versus starting at 5 when we used to, because we weren't getting a quorum at 5. So now that we start at 6, we really raced tonight to get through a lot of stuff, and our agenda is really intense on the 4th. Is that the first Wednesday, the 4th?
5th.
The 5th. So, and that's the only night that I can get the majority of those folks there. We originally started on Tuesdays, but then that conflict with the Board of Selectmen, their meeting night, so I just couldn't be in two places at once.
So we back to the 21st, is that what you're
Yeah,
telling me?
shoot for the 21st.
Because that wouldn't be.
That's
You
far
were,
enough.
you were there, Frank. We got a lot of stuff we're covering on that night.
Oh, that's a big one.
For
So the kicker is, I don't see any sense to have a meeting just for the selectmen, considering this is what it's concerned. We need all three there again.
I think the safest thing, so that we have time to think it through, would be more the third Wednesday of October. Only putting it off an extra 2 weeks. I think we might be rushing it to the 21st in order to...
I think it would be a hard sell, but
what do
The
you
third
think?
week? I think the third.
The 3rd of October, if the board's okay with that, if your selectmen would be okay with that?
what's...
The third's a Monday?
Third Wednesday,
Third Wednesday in October,
which is a typical
The 19th.
19th.
planning board meeting. And then I'll just get 2020 to come out another evening, and that way they can be here and rather than race from meeting to meeting.
October 19th at 7,
6.
6?
No.
No, you can't, you guys can't do 6, that's right, too. 7. I think we'll lose
7.
half of them if we do it at 7.
On 6:30.
Oh, you can do it without me.
7 o'clock, that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also going to have a workshop on the unused growth permits. Is that just on the back burner?
It's about to come to the front burner. We're still gathering up some more information on that, so that it's, I want to get something to you in advance of your meeting. And I still got a couple gaps of information. I wanted to kind of show you what a couple other municipalities were doing. Because as it looks now, Tina, what's there, about only 6 or 7 permits? 6 or 7 permits out, building permits? Okay,
Yeah,
that's all.
I didn't realize that you were working on it.
I'm trying to gather up some information to make your decision-making a little bit easier. So, again, you might want to push that into October. We'll have a good reading on how many building permits are out. Right now, it's 7, Tina, 6 or 7?
I have a couple on my desk, so maybe 10 by then, but
What's the year count for the building permits? When does it begin?
January 1, right? Calendar year?
Is it calendar
technically, the way the
year or-
growth permit ordinance is written is July 1st.
First.
July
Okay.
1st. yeah.
All right. That clears our agenda for the evening. Is there any other business anybody wants to discuss? I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Or a second. A motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor?